do this, and I thought it was so exhilarating for me to just be absolutely drowning in too much to do, too much theater. That was like the dream for me. No matter what, I just wanted to do. And I was actually in rehearsal yesterday or today, and I thought, I can't believe I'm still doing this. Like, I can't believe I'm still doing plays and making art, because I think I thought in the back of my head, because I was from this, slightly conservative, neighborhood in Ohio, where no one was in show business, and I thought at some point people would be like, okay, enough. Like, knock it off, go to law school, be a banker, like grow up. But no one made me. It's so great, and I've been able to, keep this charade up for a while. It's been great. And I think it was around that time that I also discovered the National Theater Institute and started looking through it, and I saw, oh, you can spend your whole semester there, and I thought I would go to London or something, and for some reason, and then I think I ended up talking to a couple people who had been there, and I think a Kenyan had been there, and everyone just came back feeling, kind of the zealousness of the newly converted, people kind of wild look in their eyes, like, you have to go. You have to go. I remember everything about NTI. I remember everything about NTI. Isn't that weird? Like, some memories kind of fade because maybe, I have this theory that when you're really present for something, you remember it. And in some ways, being present for something is like the antidote to nostalgia, because you actually were there for it. I think we get nostalgic for things we didn't fully live or appreciate in a way. That said, I was devastated to leave NTI, and my parents thought I had gone crazy because I kept trying to communicate to them what it was, and I didn't have the words, and I had this thing with my parents where I felt like if I couldn't articulate what had happened to me and get them to understand it, it was as if it hadn't happened to me. Like I hadn't unenmeshed, or whatever the word is, like I hadn't done enough separation. So it was actually very harrowing to leave NTI, but I remember everything. I remember, I can still quote things Richard said, and I remember him saying one time, great acting will often make people feel very uncomfortable. I remember him saying that. Him calling us duckies for 3 months. I remember everyone we were with. Yeah. I still have very dear friends from that time. I've sent people to NTI. They've all been really grateful. I remember also studying with Donna, and I remember all the pieces I wrote, and then we had to do an exercise. This was my favorite, where one object was dropped 3 separate times in 3 separate scenes. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And I had a severed head drop. I was working a little more ghoulishly back then. I remember that, and it was something about, was it? Oh, you were in that. You played you were kidnapped or something?
Yes.
And someone else, by the kidnapper, had a murder.
Oh my God.
Do you remember this?
Yes,
but you were great in it. She's a great actress, Rachel Jett, by the way. And then I did another burglar piece where a girl had just broken up with her boyfriend, and it was something about yogurt, because I think it was called Pop Culture.
That's so great.
Yeah.
Napoleon Blown Apart.
My big project was called Napoleon Blown Apart, which was like a 50 or 60 page play. And you're writing these plays when you, or are you guys laughing at the title? You're writing these plays, like, when are you writing them? I mean, you're just grabbing little,
yeah.
and
they're the best plays.
Yeah.
Those that we wrote that way.
And it's so funny, I was doing things at NTI that for some reason I don't do at all anymore, which was, Napoleon Blown Apart was about a Greek grocer in a small Ohio town who was in love with this hairdresser girl who worked at a shop called the Curl Up and Die. And she was a customer, and then there was a stuttering old man who was also a customer, and then there was a student who was like this crazy manic student who was going through, it was a college town play, and he was going through something. So it was the 4 of them, and it was something like the big supermarket chain had moved into town, and all his customers had gone away, basically except these 3. So it was a kind of little man, big man I don't know, anti-capital. I don't know what I was doing. But it wasn't without its charms. But at the end, you know, he and this woman agree they love each other. And this is where I was kind of collegiate in my thinking, but she said at the end, you know, light the match. And so they blew themselves up together, which I thought was a really sophisticated, uncompromising choice.
But it was an ending.
It was an ending. I needed an ending. I was busy. But it's so funny because it's really something I oppose now, which is a kind of nihilistic ending. Like I really work to kind of, I call it resolving the chord. Like leave your characters better than you found them. Like I wouldn't just annihilate my characters now. I feel too tender towards them in some ways. And maybe I've just changed my whole worldview or something. I don't know.
But I'm glad you did it then. I mean, you needed to do that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember everything. And I remember you being so supportive of my writing. And I think I went back my senior year feeling like a writer, more than I ever had, you know, because I got that encouragement. So thanks.
welcome.
NTI was more about getting me in the mindset of what it required of you to be an actor, and the all-consuming nature of the thing. And I remember Richard giving us this lecture about there are no holidays for people of the theater. You know what I mean? No Thanksgiving, no, like you work through everything. That was on some level your religion. And I don't want it to be my religion all the time. Like I look at, you know, the stage actors who are just employed year round, and it's like, wow, that's intense. But it gave me it shifted a track in my brain where it became, you know what it was? It was the difference, like before NTI, theater was my mistress. And it was like hot and secret, and it was like always at night. And after I got to NTI, theater became my wife. And it was like a deeper commitment, maybe a little less sexy, but it was like a deeper, stronger, deeper like commitment. You just learned a lot about me. It was like a stronger, do you know what I'm saying? It became like, this is my life, this is who I am, and this is what I do. And I think because of that, I went back to my senior year and did a year of plays that I felt like I was doing professional work in a college environment. Like my game was so raised by being at NTI, and it was noticeable. I mean, I got back and I was just like alive and hungry to do great work.